Hey guys, welcome to Home Team. I'm Jessica Serrano. This is my husband, Raul, and we are excited to join you tonight to talk a little bit about how, as families, I know we're all working towards better health, and we're here to support you through those mental, physical, spiritual challenges that come along with building a healthy home. So stick around, because by the end of this video, we're going to share 3 really helpful, easy tips that you and your family can improve posture. And this hits pretty close to home because I know growing up, ask my mom and dad, I had pretty bad posture. Definitely a lot of sluggish shoulders. I'm sure when Raul even met me, kind of had that hunched over look.
And lost a curve in the neck.
And lost the curve in my neck. So my x-rays definitely showed the result of that posture. And also being a teacher, I'm sure you guys have seen kids these days. There's a few postures that are very common. This happens to be one of them. And the other one is definitely slouching. I mean, kids are sitting in desks for up to 3 to 5 hours along with parents sitting in front of computers, and you're seeing the slouching shoulders, what we call the text neck. And I know this might look bad, and as parents we're always encouraging good posture, but there's actually some really big health implications. Yeah. So we're going to talk a little bit about that today.
So you can hear in the background your grandparents saying, "Hey, sit up straight," right? There was something to that. One of the things, I started practicing just over 8 years ago, and I see a lot of kids in our practice, and one of the things that even 8 years ago, I would see kids and check their postures, and if we possibly took x-rays, rarely would I see, maybe 20%, 25% of the kids would have some type of text neck. And this is a new term, it's a new diagnosis they're giving people, this text neck, and I'm gonna explain it here. But 8 years into practice now, every time we check kids in our practice and we look at their postures, and if we take x-rays, that 20-25%, it's probably jumped up to like 80-85% of the kids have some type of text neck. And what's happening, this is detrimental, by the way. What happens in text neck, let me give you a little anatomy here. A lot of you understand, if you've been to one of our events or practice, you understand this, but if you've never been to anything that we've done, we know that our brain controls everything in our body. Your heart, your lungs, your immune system, you name it, your brain controls it, right? So the brain has to send a message down the spine, that includes the neck first, before it gets anywhere else in your body. So your neck, it literally, if you look...
Prop time.
It's my prop time here. If you look at somebody from the side, if I took an x-ray and I'm looking at somebody's posture, you should have a nice rounded curve in the neck. It should look like a banana. That's what the neck should look like.
It's called the arc of life?
Yes, this is called the arc of life. When you have this nice rounded curve, let's just imagine the outside here are the bones, and inside, the banana inside would be your nervous system. It's your spinal cord. Your spinal cord takes all those messages from your brain and it sends them down into your body. Now this is what happens in text neck, or this is what happens when you have that slouching posture or the forward head posture. You literally take that and you start to do that.
Oh.
And you guys saw how that just ripped open. If it was a softer banana, it would squish in there. That squishing is exactly what happens to your spinal cord. Your spinal cord literally starts to get squished and stretched out. You stretch out a spinal cord. Actually, just tonight I was having a conversation with some patients, and I was just talking to them about how people always say that within 7 years you kind of rebuild your body, right? You have new skin cells, new heart cells, new stomach cells, because your body is constantly reproducing itself, making new cells. Yes, it's true, except for the nervous system. The nervous system, your brain and nerves that control everything in your body, it's the only system in your body that doesn't reproduce. If you damage that system doesn't come back. That's why if you cut a nerve, guess what happens? It's done. It's finito. Wherever that nerve goes, that end organ or limbs, if it's your limbs, it's dying off. Those things aren't functioning anymore because your body can't regrow those nerves. So why is this important? It's important because your nervous system controls everything, and nowadays, because of, like my wife said, texting all the time, because of watching computer work, watching TV, we're always in this posture, we're starting to lose that curve more and more. And what's going to happen is that this next generation, our kids, because of the loss of curve, there's going to be an epidemic of neck surgeries, of all these diseases of this part of the body and the nervous system at younger and younger ages. So we want to give you 3 tips to reverse some of that.
There's hope, and it's easier.
Yeah, it's easy, and we want to give you a couple of those tips. So number 1, this is a family thing. So you want to explain the phone or electronic devices? Number one tip here.
And this tip actually has 2 benefits. So first off, the rule in our house is if you are texting, it has to be at eye level. So literally, you're holding it up like this.
I exaggerate sometimes. I look up like this. I want to work on my curve.
And what's great about this is if your child is like playing games or a video and you ask them to hold it up, the deal is if they don't hold it up at eye level, you take the phone or the device. So it's also developing some muscles in their arms, but as they start to get tired and go down like this, the device becomes yours. So kids end up actually playing less,
a lot less
on the phone, and it's also at eye level.
Sometimes it's so funny because they know the rule. It's a rule at our house. The phone's up, that's fine, they can use it. As soon as it goes down, it's ours. There's no questions asked, this is just the rule. So sometimes, you'll see them and they don't even want to play or use the phone because they know they have to hold it up. They're like whatever, here, just take it.
And you probably heard it at the office whenever I walk in the waiting room, you see people texting up here. So tip number 1, devices, whether they're, phones,
iPads, anything like that. Eye level, Kindles. If they go down, especially for kids, you're the parent. You get to take it away. You don't have to ask questions. You don't have to just make it a rule, and then you get to take it away. So,
the other thing I'm sure with computers, if a lot of you are sitting at desks, we were talking about a patient today, and he actually sits at a standing desk now, and he's propped his computer up at eye level because we were talking 8 hours a day that he was looking down.
Yeah, and this is getting harder and harder with computers because what's happening is we're getting away from desktops and we're going to laptops. So laptops make it a little more difficult to have your monitor at eye level and still type. So I always like the laptop because the regular computers, desktops, because you can put the monitor up and still have your keyboard down lower. So that's tip number 1.
Tip number 1, devices at eye level. What's
number 2 is going to be, this is more for kids, but encouraging play that encourages good posture. One of the things that I love is crawling with my kids. We play
animals.
we play farm animals, zoo animals. We do all sorts of fun stuff on the ground, and there's 2 benefits to this. Number 1, when you're in the crawling position, I don't know if I can get in that position. When you're in the crawling position, you have to bring your neck up to see where you're going. So your neck, you're developing that curve. You're also using your left arm and right leg when you crawl, and right arm and left leg. So now you're also developing the core strength and the communication between left and right brain that coordinates your movements. So crawling is a great exercise. I have my 9-year-old, or 5 and 3-year-old still crawling. They walk as well, but they crawl with me, and I crawl myself just to encourage that left to right brain interaction and that posture, because when you're crawling, you're working on your core as well. So that was number 2.
And along with that, with the playing, core strength is fun. You can play bridge, where they're either going down in plank or on their back. Just, think through some of those exercises or stretches that you might do as an adult and have those be fun and interactive. There's even, I think they were watching something on TV the other day. It was like yoga stretches to the tune of Frozen. So it was like this whole Frozen routine as they were doing stretches. So there's stuff out there.
And we'll do fun stuff like, hey, how long can you hold a plank? And we'll all be sitting there planking on our hands. Little competitions. Kids love it. Our 3-year-old loves it. So this is a good way to incorporate your kids in getting strength, a stronger core.
Thanks for the likes, guys. I'm glad you guys are watching. Yeah. So tip 1, if you missed it, was devices need to be at eye level. Tip 2 was encouraging play that builds core strength. And
tip number 3, this is a simple exercise everybody can do, kids and adults. By the way, thanks for the thumbs up. If you're liking this, share this. This is huge for people. The number 1 thing we're seeing nowadays with kids and adults is this kind of posture here. You start losing what they call forward head posture, and then you lose strength in the rhomboids, which is the muscles in the back, and you start to have this position here. How many kids have you seen in this position? Or adults?
Yeah.
So the one simple exercise you can do to start start increasing the strength, turn around a little bit, of the rhomboids, which are the muscles right in here between the scapula, is what we call wall stands. Wall stands are simple. You go against the wall, the wall would be there. You take your shoulder blades and you go back and down. So shoulder blades back and down, palms out, I'll move away a little bit. And then you tuck your chin in.
You're going to create a double chin.
If you don't have a double chin, you're not doing it correctly.
I hope some people are doing this right now with their phones. That'd be awesome.
Yeah. So shoulders back and down, tuck your chin in, and flatten everything against the wall. This encourages your rhomboids to get active and encourages your deep neck flexors to activate, and that's what brings your posture back. And so many of us have deep neck flexors that are weak, have rhomboids that are weak, and this is why we're in this slouching posture. Huge exercise. What I recommend is 10 seconds, hold, and you do this 10 times. So 10 seconds, 10 times. Do this daily. If you're at a computer, you could do it multiple times a day, but this is something that everybody can do, kids, adults, to really encourage that posture of opening up the chest, pinning back the shoulder blades, and bringing the forward head posture back. So those are 3 simple tips to encourage good posture. So hope you guys enjoyed this. Share it, like it, give some thumbs up. Love all the hearts.
Send us some pictures of your wall stands.
That'd be awesome. I want to see some more double chins, don't you? I did it. You guys can do it with us. Come on. So thank you guys. If you have any comments, any questions, write those below, and we will get to as many of them as we can. We try to answer them all, and we just love you guys. We're looking forward to continuing to bring you more and more good content.
Yeah.
Anything else? We're good. See you guys.
Have a good
night.